So this is going to be a little different here. We're opening this show with the speed round. So, Tasha,
Robert, I'm
are
ready.
are you ready? Favorite
I'm ready.
concert?
Uh, Reba,
What's the can't miss food at the Clay County Fair?
Amish donuts.
Biggest pet peeve?
I have so many.
Inclu-
Um,
Does that include
so many.
bald podcast hosts?
Yep, I can't stand the bald guys. Biggest pet peeve would be people who litter.
Okay. And a movie is made about your life. Who plays Tasha?
Anna Kendricks.
Oh, Anna Kendrick. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're welcome to this week's episode. As you can tell, we've switched things up a little bit. We're doing the speed round first, just to kind of change up the vibe of the show. If you have not guessed already, we've got Tasha Hyder on the show from Clay County Fair, and I should be specific, Green Cove Springs, Florida,
Yes,
not
Florida,
Spencer,
not
Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah, not
Thank you for
Iowa.
clarifying.
And we can't. And Jeremy's not your Clay County buddy anymore. I was just clicking because he's now at State Fair.
I know. I'm so sad about that. That was one of my favorite things ever is to like the banter back and forth with Jeremy and I with the Clay County. And I just honestly I haven't even met the new manager at Clay County. I need to do that and see if we've got that relationship. But I miss it. And I keep
The
telling Jeremy to come back.
I just realized as I was talking in
Yeah.
that intro, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a
Yep.
minute. We didn't get any banter this year.
I know.
And
I'm
I
so
was like,
sad.
that's because Jeremy's not there now. He's now moved to Des Moines.
Yep. I'm so sad. Like, and I think about it probably more than I should. But I actually really enjoy the banter back and forth. Like
It
it was
was
one of my
good.
favorite things.
We
So
enjoyed it. And Jeremy, if you're listening to this episode, I think that means you need to step down from your position at the Iowa State Fair and go back to Clay County. I think that's the
like
only
come
way to
on,
fix
man.
this.
You've spent a year at the Iowa State Fair. What more can you do, right? Like
Yes,
you've done it
right.
all. Come back.
He's reached the pinnacle. Speaking of
Tell us.
Clay County Fair, let's focus on your Clay County Fair.
Yes.
It looks like you guys had a heck of a year. How'd things go overall with your fair?
You know, I keep laughing because I keep saying this was the best fair ever. And everyone's like, but why? Like, we still had things go wrong. We still had a multitude of problems. But I don't know. I had the right people in the right positions, I guess. And everyone just executed. And even pre fair planning went so smooth this year.
Good.
And when that happens, I get very nervous. I think most fair managers probably do. Like, when it's so smooth, you're like waiting for the shoe to drop and like, what's happening. But we didn't have the shoe drop, or I've just been through so much in the past that my threshold of stuff is so high that when things do happen, it's like, oh, just another day as a fair manager.
That's called experience, right?
I think
So
so.
was your attendance way up?
Yep. So we went from 157,000 to 170,000 this year.
Oh, is that all?
That's all.
Congratulations.
Yep, we're seeing on average about a 10% increase every year. So yeah.
Well,
So we're experiencing other problems. Now like
so you're experiencing inflation in a good way.
yeah. And now like even our slower days are not slow anymore. Like our Monday through Thursday, they're now very busy days. So
Excellent.
yep, good things.
And that's gotta that's gotta be pleasing for your concessionaires and everybody because for the whole business and almost any fair you go to that goes across 2 weekends like yours, it's if you they always say if it's gonna rain, let it be Monday night,
Yep. And it
but
rained on Thursday for us, which is our Monday. Our Monday is our Christian night, which is a pretty big night for us.
sure,
Our Thursday, we don't do too much. It's a switchover in the arena. And
right?
this year we had one rain day and it happened to be on Thursday, happened to be right before the gates opened. So couldn't have planned that better if I did it myself.
Well, and for Florida to only have that one rain day
In spring, in April. Like, are
in
you
April,
serious?
yeah. I mean, I remember the year I came down to help out at your fair with 21, 22, I forget when it was.
Yep.
Um,
If it was
that storm
22,
was
it was the
22.
worst year we've ever had. So
Yeah, well, that's well, thanks. I show up and you have the worst year ever. Thanks for
worst
saying
year
that
ever
out
was in
loud,
22.
Tasha.
Well, we
For
had
the
eight
record,
out
she
of
did not.
11 days.
For the record, I was helping. I was not doing Play with
Yeah.
Giants, so you cannot blame my attractions for this.
It was not your problem. We
But I
had
remember
8 out of 11 days.
that storm cell that
Yep.
came through one of those days was like shut the whole place down. Everybody hunkered down. And it
Yep.
was this typical big line that went from down south of Tampa
Yep.
straight up north past Jacksonville, one of those big runs that went through, and that radar was solid red. And it was like, oh God. And it was about
Every
15 to
year.
20 minutes of everybody
Every
hold
year.
on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Every single year we get one of those. And
that's
every
Florida.
single year we get a tornado either coming right at us or around us or something.
Yes.
So if we
Yes.
don't, it's not a fair year. If there's not a tornado that's around us, it's kind of a, did we even have a fair this year with not a tornado?
Oh man. I was at the Curry County Fair in Clovis, New Mexico one year, and
Okay.
a tornado started to drop right on top of us. Literally, I have a photo of it somewhere. And the only reason the fairground survived, one of the meteorologists said this, there was some level of wind shear that prevented the outer wall from forming, but the inner, like the ice core that's in the middle that's just shooting hail everywhere, that's
Yeah.
what hit us. The dents in our vehicles were ridiculous,
Oh,
but nobody injured, nobody, like no buildings torn down. But I remember looking at it going, oh, this is why people freak out in tornadoes, because that
yeah.
is horrifying to see that come at you.
No, we have tornadoes, but we've never had one actually like on our fairgrounds.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like we had a tornado on our fairgrounds because the wind is like so terrible on our fairgrounds. But I
Yeah.
can't imagine actually a tornado on the ground during
Yeah.
the.
I'll have to find the picture and send it to you because you'll
Please
see what I
do.
mean. Like, because there's just this moment that I literally texted Sarah and I was like, I love you, thinking this was going to be it. We were in trouble because
I'm
this is
going
one
to
of these.
Kansas game. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Right. And because the Curry County Fair, it's like so many other fairgrounds, it's just a bunch of metal buildings that, I mean, they're not going to
Right.
stand up to a tornado. Anyhow, enough weather talk.
That's scary.
Let's talk about some of your promotions you did because you're like one of the aces at social media and promoting your event. You had what I was seeing on your content, some really cool promotions going on, promotions and activations. Can you talk about what you did in particular? It was it the slot machine promo that you guys did because that was really cool.
Yeah. I love the slot machine. So one of these people that take current trends or anything around you and try to incorporate it into your fair, right? So I was scrolling on social media like we all do and came across this human slot machine. I think it was in London. It was the Rotary Club doing it. And it was three older guys and they were just having a blast going, ah, and then they win. And this year happened to be our theme was a casino theme. I was like, we have to do this. And I
Perfect.
love giving back to our community. It is one of my favorite things that I'm able to do in my position. So tied it in with some charities and we raised about $2,500 over 11 days. And it made great social media content, regardless of the good thing that it did for the charities that were involved. It gave us lots of great content for social media.
Absolutely. Well, and
So,
it was fun for anybody who didn't see it. And if you're listening, basically the idea was you had people sitting at tables and you built like a faux casino like front
yeah,
space. And there were the windows where people would come pull the handle, and then three people on the windows would spin their hands, right? And then
yeah,
grab a card and hold it up, and it would have whatever the item was, like the
yeah. We had
cherries or
the
whatever in
fruit.
the
Yeah, we
was it
had
fruit?
pieces of fruit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody won. Everybody was a winner, thanks to my friends at Degler Attractions. They donated
Ah,
this little
Degler.
gotta give them a shout out. They were the partner in this. They gave us the little stuffed animals for, people to win, and all the
Perfect.
money went right back to charity, so,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah.
And what a way to work your partnerships with Degler and work with your connections and network. But the funnest part about that, and I think the reason I kept watching it was because watching these three people that were the slot machine
Mhm.
spin their arms and they're just laughing at each other because they know how ridiculous they look. And everybody had an amazing time. Like, what a cool
Uh,
thing to do.
they had a blast. And then I hear that, my Amish donuts had an increase in sales this year too. Something about a police officer on social media taking the donut and eating it.
There you go.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. But
Did you not see the video?
Was it good?
Robert, it went viral of our hot police officer eating the Amish donut and then licking his lips. Like it was like the most talked about thing in our fair this year.
It was on your, is it on your Facebook page?
Yeah, it's on all of our platforms: TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay, Clay County Fair, Florida. I'm gonna go look
So
at it right now.
we
And it was
literally had to bring bodyguards for my SWAT guy because all the women were coming to like find the hot donut guy and get their picture taken with him. Probably easier to find on Instagram, because Facebook, we do a lot more on Facebook than we do Instagram.
Okay. Let's see,
I can't believe you
Instagram.
didn't see it. The algorithm has failed you, Robert.
I don't know what's kicking on here. I've got stuff auto playing in the background. Clay. It just clicked off. I have to see this. So everybody listening at home is like, "Oh, why are they not talking about this? Why we can't see it?" Okay, let's see. What video am I looking for? I see police in a lot of
You'll
these.
see one police officer.
I see a dude by a traffic cone.
Keep going. Are you on Instagram?
I am. I see Barbie.
Yep.
I see. Is
That
he
was
the?
another
Is he
image.
the? There's a African American cop. Is that him? Because he looks like he got a donut in his hand.
Yeah, he's Hispanic, but yeah, he's darker
Oh, is he
complexion.
Hispanic? I can't see in that
Yeah.
little thumbnail. Oh yeah, yeah. Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's lit. He just walks up like he's freaking Rambo.
Yep, and just eats the donut.
Just eats the donut. Oh,
And we
forget
did
it.
not ask him to lick his lips, by the way. So he did that all on his own.
And all these women in the comments, what day is he? I mean, what's a good day to come to the fair?
So if you're on it, you should the
My
comments
husband keeps
on
asking me why the song in the background keeps playing. Oh my
the
god.
Facebook comments are gold. We went viral on Facebook. Those comments, oh, we had some thirsty women.
Oh my god. Hurry up. Hurry up. Get in the car, kids. We're going to the fair. Oh my lord.
It was great.
That's awesome.
Good time.
That is absolutely epic.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that one, but classic.
Don't
You
know how
guys
you
do
did that one either.
you guys do really you do good stuff. From a marketing standpoint, obviously you're doing a lot on social. What is your ad spend? How are you kind of dividing that up? Are you still doing billboards and things like that? Are you doing TV ads, or like where are you looking at with that?
Yeah, so we're still spreading money all across all platforms. I know, but we still have a good population that comes to the fair that still picks up that paper. However,
Are you
you'll
still
be
doing
happy
newspaper advertising?
we are, but not a lot. Like less than $10,000 in newspaper. So
What would you say as
not
a
a lot.
percentage? As a percentage, what is that?
Pretty, I would say it's pretty good. Like percentage of like my marketing budget or
Yeah.
percentage of people that it's like less than 5%.
Okay.
The majority of my money is social media, digital ads. That's where the largest chunk. I would say 70% of my marketing budget is digital ads and social media.
Yeah.
So, but you'll be happy to know that that number is probably going to go higher because we are noticing a larger trend on people finding information on social media and digital ads. So we're actually going to be cutting our TV budget because what we're finding is people are just they're not watching the local channels anymore. So,
Nope.
And what I've come to peace with, the local news, you're likely going to be the largest thing in town anyway. So regardless if you have ads on their channels or not, they're
It's
still going to be
easy
talking
stories.
about your fair. They're going to be talking about your fair regardless.
Yep.
But Kelly from the State Fair West Virginia, we had this conversation that sometimes you do still have to kind of buy ads to kind of make sure you're still friendly with them and keep those good relationships. Because when
Sure.
things do hit the ceiling, you want to be like, hey, we give you money, be nice to us. So
Yeah, go easy on us.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And there are still people that watch TV. suppose it depends on what the cost is for, and every market's going to vary. There are
Right.
just some places that I know there are fairs that are insistent on television ads, and I'm looking at what, their CPM rates are, and it's like, you're spending that much. You could dump that into social and, easily quadruple your reach.
Well, and I think each fair is different. I mean, just like the whole relationship point. Yeah, we could take all that money away from them, but now that kind of puts a target and they could easily come do negative news for us. They could
Of
find
course.
anything negative and talk about it.
Yeah, you
Um,
want to keep a positive
yeah.
relationship with the media for sure.
And sometimes you got to give them money to do that. So,
Yep.
but I am cutting TV budget this year, and that money is going into social media ads. So, yeah, that's what we're seeing on
Well,
our
you
side.
do an incredible job with it. You really are, I think, one of the industry leaders as far as social media marketing goes and creative
Oh,
promotions.
setting that bar high. That was a big statement, Robert.
It
Thank you.
it is for at least on anybody listening. I would put you up against almost anybody in this industry as far as a creative goes for good promotions and marketing.
Thank you.
The
I have
end.
a good team. I have a good team around me, so they made me
Well,
look.
always takes a team. But you just got great ideas. The stuff you've done over the years, and I think one of the things I admire most about you is that you're not afraid to fail. You're not
No.
afraid to go, hey, I've got this idea. Let's go execute on it. And then you execute it and you go, oh, let's not put that one on Facebook. Because
Yeah,
so
there's
many
just a
people,
couple of
I
those.
tell people one of my favorite quotes, I forget where I heard it originally, but it's 2 words: fail faster.
Mhm.
Because so many
Yeah.
people are scared to fail and they don't realize their greatest successes are on the other side of that failure.
Yep.
And they'll do anything to avoid that failure. And it's like, no, just put it out there and embrace it. You
Yep.
found out you suck at doing something cool. As
Yep.
Jocko Willink would say, good. Now you know not to waste your time on that and you go do something else.
I'm one of these people, like, at least we tried it. Like, I can't
Yes.
go through life and say, "Oh, well, we never tried that." I can at least say, "Well, we tried it and it just didn't work out."
Yes. I would much rather see someone like you try all sorts of different things, get creative, have 25% of them be incredibly successful and have another percentage of them be meh, so, and then some of them just tank. I would much rather you be at the helm of that than hear people that just go, no, no, we have to do it this way. Well, why? Because we've always done it that way.
Yeah, well, and I have a 2-year rule too. Like, you try something 1 year, you roll it out, you see how it's recepted, right? Well, next year, okay, let's take the feedback that we got from that and see if
Yep.
it's even better the next year.
Yep.
And then you can make a decision then in the second year, like, hey, are we going to stick to this or is it just something not going to work? Like Ferris wheel speed dating. We did that for 3 years, I believe, and it just didn't work. It was great for marketing. Our TV people definitely talked about it, so
Right.
it was great in that way. But did we make a lot of love connections at the fair during Ferris wheel speed dating? No.
No,
I think we made one, maybe, and
sure.
I'm not even sure if that was legit or not. So,
Well, I understand the 2 year rule. And in fact, there are times that I will, even with Play with Giants, when a fair comes up to me at IEF and they say, well, we've got this struggle with this building and we want to try something new.
mhm,
We want to put you in there. And I tell them I need a 2 year deal.
right.
Then they say, well, why is that? And then I explain that exactly that, because you're going to put me in there that first year. And as the expert on watching and observing people's behavior, I'm going to spend that first year observing what's going on around me and how I can set this up better next year and how you can set your building up better next year. And that when I explain that, most of the time anymore, they go, oh, that makes sense. Let's do 2 years. And
Yep,
inevitably, we make some adjustments on the fly the first year. And then the second year, they're like, how did you know? And I'm like, because
like,
you handle a
use it.
fair with 5,000 moving pieces. I fix buildings.
Mhm,
I go in and I see how people move in buildings. I see where things are set up in buildings and I understand what people are looking for. That's what I do. I just happen to have games and activities along the side. So that 2 year rule, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
yep.
So I am curious, for all you've done in fairs, fair manager, all your promotions, everything going on, what is it you love most about what you do?
So I really love the community outreach. Being able to help charities. That is something truly like ingrained in me. It's not just a front. It's not just to say we're good with the community. I am very, very passionate about taking my platform and helping all the communities, all the charities around us. So my board has pretty much given me free reign to help whatever I want to help with. And that's just, I love it. I mean, I love it. I wake up and I'm like, who can we help today?
It sounds like you really enjoy contributing and giving of yourself to others.
Yeah, I do. That's a fair statement.
If another young person in the industry wanted to take a shot at a career like yours,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
Don't do it. Run. Go.
I knew you were going to say that. Don't.
No, it's
McDonald's is
okay.
hiring.
Bucky's, you can make more money at Bucky's with less stress. Do it. Just kidding.
I don't
And
know.
also,
Bucky's is pretty cool. You can't disrespect the beaver.
I like Bucky's, and you really can probably make more money there than a fair manager. I wasn't really joking about that one.
And
But
you
if
don't
they,
mean it as an insult. Like it just
not an
is.
insult, not an insult. But if they insist on wanting to get into the fair industry, I would say get a really good therapist to come with you, and just be patient and meet and learn. Like, don't come in thinking you know everything. Network, get to know people, ask them questions. I feel like that's what I've done. If you notice, I have friends all over the US because I've talked to them. Like Jen, she's in Iowa, right? Jen Dunn. She's in
Yes.
Iowa. I always
Yes.
get Iowa or Idaho.
And
I'm
I'll
like,
be
she's
there. I
from
see her in
Iowa.
like 3 weeks. I'm going to
Yeah.
her fair.
So, like, get to know these people. Like, just introduce yourself. Jess from Erie County Fair. She's a freaking legend.
That's my
Um,
fair sister.
who do you think I call when something that I don't know, like maybe I don't have the experience? I'm calling Jess up. Hey, how did you handle this? Um, that's that's my advice is don't be shy. You can't be shy in this position. You got to put yourself out there. So,
Yes, relationships matter, and don't underestimate, if I was to give advice,
yeah,
the value of the long tail benefit of a relationship.
yeah,
You may connect with somebody and only have a 5-minute conversation with them a few times a year.
yeah,
And then 5 years from now, something happens and they're the ones that help save that situation. Or in my
one,
case, I literally have been asked, Tasha never books you for her fair. Why are you such good friends with her? And I'm like, do you not understand the long tail? I don't have to market to you, Tasha. At some
yeah,
point, 2 years, 5 years from now, I'm going to get a call and you're going to say, hey, do you have April open? I've got the perfect spot for you.
right,
Same thing with Jess Underberg. Same thing with so
yeah,
many people that I'm friends with. Because, well, first off, there's way more value to the friendship than just do I get a booking out of it. And I think any entertainers that are out there that's their goal is just get the booking. I think you're doing it wrong.
yeah,
Kudos to you if you have a great year and you knock the socks off of it and you book 150 fair days. Like, awesome. I tip my hat to you. But what's going to happen in 4 years or 5 years when you're burned out?
nope,
You know,
agree. Cool.
which fair managers are going to be there that you're still friends with, you're still talking to. So for me, the long tail of the relationship is
Mhm.
one of these days, yeah, you'll book me, but along the way, I love talking to you. I learn from you. I think you're one of the rock stars of the industry. So why wouldn't I want to be a friend with you?
Right. Well, and Robert, on the flip side of that, yes, haven't booked you for whatever reasons, mainly space. That's our problem.
Sure.
However, I am friends with a lot of fair managers. And when they ask me who they should book, your name is in those conversations. So while
Yes.
I may not be booking you, I'm
Right.
still putting in good words for you for other fairs who hopefully will book you. And then when you're building relationships, don't just build relationships with people like you, like other fair managers. Like, talk to your entertainers because guess what? I can call you and say, hey, what are some things that we should be adding in our fair that you have experienced at other fairs that's good? Like, what can I do to improve the entertainer experience?
Yep.
Um, Louis, we have those conversations all the time. Like, hey, man, talk to me. What can we do to improve your experience? You're just as part of this fair family as anyone else.
Right.
Talk to me. What do you need to make your stay with us better?
Well,
So,
and it's perfect that's perfect segue because this next question I've been starting to ask of fair managers and entertainment buyers and asking of entertainers, but switching the roles within the question. Um, and that is when it comes to the booking process and it comes to that experience of having an entertainer at your fair, what are some things that entertainers could do better on their end to better support you and your fair?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this question. Because spoiler alert, Robert sends us questions before we come on live.
I'm
So I've been thinking about this one.
not cruel
Like,
like Sean Evans. I don't make you eat hot buffalo wings and then drop a bomb of a question on you.
it's terrible. So I don't know if I've just been spoiled with the people that we have signed. Um, but I cannot think of an answer for this. Like the entertainers we have booked are like they're perfect. Like I don't know. So my question to you is, what can we do to help your process? What can fair managers do, or the people making the decision? Like in my instance, I have a director that has a 90% say so on who we book.
Sure.
So what can we do to make entertainers experience better?
So here's what I'm going to say to that, because
Okay.
that's great that you bounce it back to me. My biggest frustration, let me preface this with, as entertainers, I personally, I don't believe that I am owed a response from you just because I sent you an email and said, "Hey, I've got a great act. What do you
Yeah.
think?" But when we've gotten to the point where you've emailed back or we've had a phone call and you said, "Okay, this is interesting. Okay, we could do that." And we're starting to move this process along. We're kind of working towards second date
Right.
status. You know what I mean?
And then you get
And
ghosted.
then we've got the proposal in, here's the numbers, okay, and then nothing.
Yeah.
That's at the point I think the performer does deserve the email, and it doesn't need to be a dramatic email. It doesn't need to be long-winded and explanatory. It just needs to say, "Hey, Robert, just want to let you know, met with the board. We're going to go a different direction, but we'll keep you in mind for another year." The end. Rip the Band-Aid off, just like in Moneyball. "Hey, you've been traded to the Dodgers. Goodbye." The end.
Well, and then at least you know, like, you know the
Correct.
answer, you know it's a yes or no.
Correct. I think there are, and in defense to you guys, I think there are a lot of entertainers that believe they are entitled just because they sent you the lead generation email, that they're
Right,
entitled to get a response in the first place. And two, I think there's a lot of performers that don't know how to handle no.
right.
And for me, I'm now, I guess I've developed over the years and kind of changed my line of thinking. That is, the answer is no. We're gonna have this conversation, and the answer is no. I'm not putting you on my calendar. I'm not holding dates. I'm not this, that, or the other until you say yes. And at that point, cool, we're good to go. So that when I do get the email that says how we went in a different direction,
It
it
hits
just
different.
doesn't matter to me. And I think there's a misunderstanding with performers. There's an entitlement there, and I mean, I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus specifically by name, but fairs have only so many spots on their fairgrounds.
Mhm.
There are 5,000 entertainers out there, and there are 5,000 decisions that a fair manager like you and your board and your entertainment people have to make to figure out what's going to fit where.
Right.
The perfect example of this is the years leading up to when I first did South Florida Fair down in West Palm Beach. Um, Lisa was still around, God rest her soul, and I had emailed her like 13, 14. I was one of these every year where I was the idiot emailing every year going, "Do you want to book me? Do you want to book me? Do you want to?" And she finally at a convention in Florida said, "Hey, just so you understand, I like the fortune machine. I think Conjure's really cool, but we do themes every year and we need to wait for the year that you work for our theme." And I went, "Oh." And then I didn't bother for like 3 more years. And all of a sudden she emails me and she goes, "Do you think you'd work for a Mardi Gras theme?" And I was like, "Perfect." And then I went.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah,
understanding, I think
engagement.
I think entertainers need to understand more instead of just, I'm a great act."
Yeah.
Okay, you may be the most incredible juggler in the world,
Mhm.
but are you a fit for that fair and that community? Because I
Yeah.
can tell you, Conjurer, I've learned over the years, there are lots of fairs that Conjurer will not work at.
Right.
And so you have to know your act and you have to know the community you're potentially going into. So
Well, and I would say when you do get the no, your response and your reaction says a lot to us as well. Like if you're just pissed off and you react poorly, how are you going to react when you get to our fairgrounds and we have to move you 5 feet, or
yeah,
we mess up on scheduling and we have to reschedule you? Like things happen out of our
correct.
control sometimes. So I mean, I would say patience on the entertainer's part.
Yep.
But on my side, I preach to my people too. I'm like, guys, like if we don't tell them, like communication is key. I'm a big communicator. Like if we have a meeting with them, at least let the entertainers know yes or no sooner rather than later. Like if we know it's an automatic no, let them know now. Like why are we going to string them along?
Correct.
And then we give them no like 3 months. They've got to work on their schedule. So
Yes.
um
Well, and I think if
hopefully,
for any fair manager or entertainment director who's listening, I understand for especially at the big fairs, say Fair Texas, Minnesota, like you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of entertainment slots you have to
right,
fill in your ground. So I don't expect that person to go through and send 1,000 individual emails that say, "Hey, sorry you didn't make it."
right.
But I literally have asked fair managers before about when they say no to an act and they go, "Oh, they cringe, they recoil. I hate saying no. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I don't know. What if they're mad at me? What then they respond back and they want demanding other answers." Here's how you do it. It is exactly like in Moneyball. You say, "Robert, we're going another direction, but we'll keep you in mind for another year." And now that's perfect. That's all you have to say. It's not personal. It's not impersonal. It's just direct and to the point.
And Robert,
And then
you're
when
lucky
that, like you say,
you've been
when the
told
person,
no. You've been told no before. Me telling you no is not going to be the first time you've heard no. So
correct. When the person reacts and says, "Hey, Tasha, thanks for letting me know. You guys have a great fair. And if I can be of assistance in the future, I'm here."
yeah,
Perfect.
easy.
Or if they come back and go, "Well, I was holding dates for you, and I think this is really unprofessional and blah, blah, blah." As the fair manager, don't concern yourself with that. That just their name now goes on a no hire list. It's super simple,
Yep.
you know. And I would just remind any of the entertainers out there who have a problem hearing no, we put out we have what 50 to 100 conversations a year with fairs
Mhm.
that probably translate into somewhere between 8 to 20 fairs that most people do. That means 80 to 90% of the clients you're dealing with, the answer is no.
Yep.
Why are you getting upset?
Yeah. Well, Robert, I do sponsorships for my fair. I'm responsible for sponsorships.
So you
You
get
know
told
how
no
many
too.
times I get told no, like
Of
all the
course.
time. So, but you know what? So I like to be told instead of me sending email after email, wasting my time, if they don't want to sponsor the fair, just tell me no. I'm okay with no, like
Right.
perfectly fine with no. Because I know I can work on no. I know that's an opportunity to work that no into a yes, just like what you said earlier. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What has
yeah.
being a fair manager taught you about yourself? You're laughing
Oh
because you
my
knew
gosh.
this question was coming. Maybe I should
No,
stop
because
sending questions in advance and just send topics.
I think I would have laughed regardless on that one. Because I've learned so much as a fair manager. I've learned how to deal with crisis. I've learned that I am very calm in the moment of crisis. But basically, have just learned how to be patient and how to actually delegate. Actually,
Yeah.
delegation was a big one for me this year. Because being young, kind of new, well, now I'm not new anymore, but
We're
still
not
being
spring
young.
chickens
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore. That transpired very quickly. But like I've always felt like I had something to prove. Like, oh, I have to prove because I'm young. I have to prove that I can do this. Well, I'm now getting out of that proving era of my
Good.
life, and I'm okay to delegate. Like I'm now delegating to other people, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like example, social media. I had a very tight hold on social media because one, I enjoyed doing it. It was something I really liked doing in my job. Um, but I quickly realized I can't be doing social media and be a fair manager. So I outsourced it to a firm. And that was a big, big moment for me. And those people knew that it was a big moment for me. They knew I was still going to be in their brains, telling them what to do. And it worked out. So it was the greatest thing I've done. But yeah, giving up control, being able to delegate, and just patience because you deal with a lot of personalities in this position. So
Yeah, there's definitely lots of personalities. And, I think one of the keys to success, any sort of long term success in this industry, is you got to have a thick skin and be willing to let things roll off your back because you're going to have those personalities. Like you and I hit it off. We're really good friends, but there are opposite personalities out there that just butt heads, and you got to be willing to just not take it personal and move on.
I mean, Robert, if I told you some things that I've been told to my face, I respect the ones that tell me to my face, right? Like I respect those people. But the things I've heard that has been said about me, like if I actually cared about that stuff, um, dang, I would probably be like in a ball under my desk sucking my thumb at this point.
Yeah.
Um, not saying some of them don't get to me. Some of them do. Some of them make it past the barrier and the tough skin. But yeah, the industry can be rough, but it can also be one of the most rewarding industries you've ever been a part of.
Yep. It's funny that you talk about the stuff that's been said to you, and it's like I hear you say that, and then I automatically think, well, what's been said to me? And the stuff that started getting said was when Robert Nash created his Zoltar machine,
Right.
right? And then people
I
started
remember
coming,
that. Yeah.
they started getting all up. What do you think about that, Robert? Like, did you see his makeup? His makeup, his look is what is it better than yours? Who do you think is better? And I'm like,
The
do
posters.
I'm like, and I always joke, like anytime I see like other Zoltar machines, I'm like, it's an imposter. And I
Yeah.
joke with about Robert Nash. I'm like, yeah, he's an imposter, right? But at the end of the day, he and I talk plenty at convention.
Mhm.
And I wonder the people that are like, are you mad because he stole Conjure? I'm like, no, he really didn't. Like, are you not aware that there's 10,000 hypnotists and 20,000 magicians out there that are literally all doing the same tricks?
Right. Well, there's
So,
enough fairs for all of you guys. I mean, you can't go to every single fair.
like I
So
said, I get 10 to 15 fairs a year. He gets 10 to 15 fairs a year. Some of them, you know, he's gone into fairs like Osceola had him. I've done that previously. Maryland's having this year. I've done Maryland previously. It, it's fine. Like, you
yeah,
know, it is what it is. There's gonna be, in fact, I'm honestly surprised there's not a third or fourth fortune machine.
I was just about to say that. There's so many fairs out there where there could be more, and then
Right,
you would still have your 15 to 20 fairs that you do. And so
right,
would he. So
right. And ultimately, with where I'm at in my business now, Play with Giants is the anchor. There's only
yeah,
one fair I do anymore, New Mexico State Fair, where I only do the fortune machine. Now that
nice.
could change year to year. I mean, any given year, a fair could say we only want the fortune machine,
Right.
but the Conjure becomes the add-on, you know, that creates a package price for the fair, and they get more entertainment, but you know, for their dollar.
That's
I
awesome.
I don't
Congratulations.
care. I think it's, and honestly, I got to give credit to Robert Nash with his makeup. I don't wear makeup in the box. I've never really gotten good at it. Maybe I need to sit down with a makeup artist to help create a face for me for Conjure. Um, but his look, his physical look when you look at him in the box is cool. Like I tip my hat to that.
It's pretty
His
cool.
box is not as cool as mine, but I'm
You both
partial
have
because
your
my
unique
dad built mine. So
characteristics.
I'm like, mine will always be the greatest. I don't care. Mine's better than all of them because my dad built it.
I love it.
So, well, listen, these next handful of questions I've got for you, they don't have to be fair related
Okay.
answers because there is a Tasha Hyder that a lot of people don't know
Yep.
that I'd like to get to know a little bit better. So I'm curious, outside of the fair, what is your favorite way to spend your time?
So you can usually find me paddleboarding, hanging out with my dogs and my spouse. So pretty boring. You hit 40 and your life goes to your kids, quote unquote, and
Yeah.
your family. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You discovered that. You discovered that 40, all of a sudden you're like, oh, is this it?
40 brings you a whole host of things real fast.
Yeah, well, so we're recording just for context. We're recording this on June 3rd, and in 6 days I hit 45. So I'll let you
You're
know
the
what that.
guy too. So
Yes, I'll
in
let you know what
13 days,
that
I
midpoint
know.
is. Yes.
Yeah, I'm scared.
When's your birthday?
The 16th.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I knew you were coming up. Yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe that's why we get along so well.
yeah, because we're Geminis. We're crazy. So our twins can interact with each other.
Right?
But that's also another fun part is like we're in this weird age, right? Like we're no longer the young professionals, which just blows my mind. Like when I started, I was 31 years old, right? I was one of the young ones in the industry.
That's
Um,
about where I was. I think I was 29 or 30 when I started.
and it happened so fast. I went from being a young professional to now I'm the adult supervision for the young professionals. So I'm like, how did this happen?
Well, you're the supervision. I don't know if you're the adult.
Yeah, that's true. I teach them how to get in trouble. So
Excellent. Well, that's,
yeah.
I guess for me, I'm working my way eventually towards being a grandfather. Like it's
Oh,
only
cool.
13, not getting
Oh,
ahead of anything. But as far as helping them get in trouble, like I'm practicing, right?
good
So that
trouble.
way in
Good
10 or
trouble.
15 years when I'm a grandfather, then I'm
Yes.
well practiced at how to teach someone to get into
Yeah.
trouble. And my son is going to hate me for
I love it. I love it.
it. What's something that you have accomplished that you're most proud of?
So this is kind of fair related, but I am super proud of it, is the CFE and my 40 under 40 award. Being in Jacksonville, it's a huge area, like huge metropolitan area. And to be recognized as one of the 40 under 40 was pretty cool. By the way, do you see my cats fighting?
Yes, I can.
um,
There,
and then
it just is what it is.
there they are. And then the CFE is hard work. Like you have to
Yeah.
say yes constantly for like 5 years to be able to have enough points to get that designation. So it is something I'm super proud of. And are there other things in my life I'm proud of? Yes. But those
Sure.
two things professionally, I'm very proud of.
What's something that you haven't quite figured out yet that you're still working on?
What I'm going to be when I grow up.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. That, and I guess, yeah, I mean, that, yeah. Like, do I want to be a fair manager for another 30 years? I don't know. I don't know if I do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. And we're rapidly getting the point where Sarah and I are gonna have to start exploring that too, because she's got, I think it's 8 years to retirement.
Yep.
And it's so funny to see our different worlds collide there because she's like, oh my God, it's 8 more years. And I'm like, I'm already booking into 2027. Like
Like, it goes by so fast.
it's not that far away. Like by the time I do those gigs in 2027, I will be booking into her retirement year. So
Kind of crazy.
yeah, the whole
Well,
what are you gonna do with the rest of your life? That's
and I guess my other thing I haven't figured out is how to get 4 dogs, 2 cats, and another human in a Sprinter van and travel the US. So,
easy. Get rid of the cats.
not an option, Robert. You just
I
saw
know.
them. They're
I
super
know.
cute.
I admire that you were a dog and cat lady. I just don't
I'm
admire
not really
cats.
a cat lady. The
No, I don't
cats
mean that. I don't mean that in the derogatory cat lady sense, but you have cats. Like you're a cat owner. You're a
the
dog
cats
owner and
choose
cat
me.
owner.
The cats choose me, okay? I may be the neighborhood junior cat lady in training because there's a senior one down the street. I'm the junior in training.
Oh my God.
I actually don't love cats. The black one that you see, I don't know why I can't figure out my screen. The black one, that guy right there, came from the fair in early Florida, was a little kitten, and he ended up in my house. Here he is.
You don't love cats?
I'm not
What's the
really
reason
a
for
cat
owning
person.
cats?
Well, I'm an animal person. I can't stand to see animals like not fed. They don't have a
Well, I
home.
know you're an animal person as well. I'm a dog person. I'll go with that.
I'm more of a dog person,
Yeah.
but I love my cats. They're cute.
Yeah.
Listen,
I've never
any animal that is in need, sign me up. I'm there to help them. So if it
do
happens that I have 2 cats, here we are.
do your cats wake you up in the middle of the night doing like that god awful like scream that cats do?
No.
That
So
you think there's like some weird possessed ghost talking to you? Like I stayed one night, one year I was going down to Florida convention. I get in a night early and a buddy let me bunk at his house. And in the middle of like 3 a.m. I hear and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I realized it was the cats yapping at each other.
yeah. So I have garage cats that stay in the garage and they do. It's the tomcats. The tomcats are fighting each other. So
Oh God.
these two, these two don't do anything.
That's wild. Well, speaking of animals, if you
Yeah,
had to
perfect
just
segue.
if you had to, yeah, we're doing a lot of good segues in this one. If you had to describe yourself as an animal, what animal would it be and why?
Okay, before I answer, what do you think I'm gonna say? I want to know if you figure out the animal that I'm gonna say.
Oh, it's not conventional, is it?
No.
I want to say it's something like a manatee or something like that. That would be my guess because that probably would be me. I would be a manatee if I could because there's everybody loves manatees.
Yeah, but manatees are so slow. They're just like, meh.
Hater, Hyder the hater. So what animal would you be?
A raccoon. They're into everything and they're nosy. They want to know what's
Makes
going
sense.
on. They're into everything and they're super cute. Like they're just the cutest little thing.
My dad had a pet raccoon when he was young.
I love raccoons.
Yeah. I could, that makes perfect sense. When you said, as soon as you said it, I was like, yep, that's the one.
Yep. Mhm.
That's the one. Cause they do, they get into everything. They cause trouble, they cause mischief, and they are unapologetic about it.
And they're super cute. Like you can't be mad at a rat. Well, you can if you don't like raccoons, but here we are.
Where did you grow up?
Oh, rural East Tennessee, a little small town called Unicoi County.
Unicoi County, East
Yeah.
Tennessee.
So my hometown fair is called the Appalachian Fair
Okay.
or Gray County Fair.
Okay.
We call it Appalachian, but I think some other people call it Gray. So Drew Amusements, he has that fair.
Okay. Did
Yep,
growing up in rural Tennessee, what kind of impact did that have on you?
a lot like therapy impact, Robert.
It sounds like there's a story there, Tasha.
I'm just kidding. There's like I love my childhood, man. Like I wish everyone could have experienced my childhood. Lived on a horse farm. We had hay and tobacco. Like that was our things that we did. Um, Actually, I'll tell the story. So I was super excited. Have you ever? Are you familiar with tobacco farms? You know they have like the tobacco setting, and you have to ride on the back of the tractor and put the plant and the little.
Okay. I had
Okay.
no idea.
Well, when you're a kid, you can't wait till the day you're old enough to sit on the back of the tractor to put the plant in the little wheelie thing. Well, I finally get old enough to do that, and I all of a sudden become super allergic to nature, like terrible allergies. My eyes swell shut. I sneeze constantly. So I never got to ride on the back of the tractor putting the little plant in because the dust that it would kick up like sent me into overdrive. So that was sad. And in the hayfield in the summertime in Tennessee did not work out for my allergies either. So unfortunately for my parents, they decided to only have one child. And that one child was allergic to pretty much everything on
Everything.
the farm. So
Wow.
sucks for them. They should have had more.
Now, are you still allergic to everything today?
Florida has been better.
Okay.
But I still have pretty bad seasonal allergies. So
Wow.
I'm
Because I was gonna
allergic.
say, like, you're still on a fairgrounds, you're still around livestock,
I have to be careful on hay day. So like when we unload hay, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't help out with that. But once it gets settled and once it's like set, I'm able to walk around it. But as far as unloading and throwing hay, I
because
it
you're
would kill
kicking
me.
up a huge cloud of it and it's right in your face at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough
But
to have those kind of allergies and work in this industry.
that's what a lot of people say. So, but there's allergy medicine. Here we are.
Right. There you go.
But yeah, I
Last,
would say that it had an impact. I mean, just growing up on the farm, work hard, um, just the work ethic alone
yeah, for sure.
prepared me.
For
So,
sure. Well, you shared a memory there of growing up, but I'm wondering if there is a core memory from your life that stands out more than others.
so that's childhood memory. I would say recent memory would be so you know Rosie, right? On my side, my blind Rosie, she comes
Yes.
to the fair.
Yeah, yeah.
So experiencing the fair with Rosie has definitely made it to my top 5 great memories that I have shared with her. This year, I put her on the bumper cars, and if you could see the reactions of walking with a blind kid to get into the bumper cars where I let her drive, it was the greatest thing. I will never forget the reactions of the people sitting in the cars waiting for us to get in our car because we were the last ones there. So unfortunately, everybody saw her. It was just the funniest thing ever, and we had a blast. Like we laughed so hard. It was just cool. It was very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
That's
love the kid.
awesome. She had a blind bumper cars.
Oh, and the funny part is I mean, she's blind. You can tell her whatever you want to tell her, and she won't know the difference. So,
That's not nice.
I know it's not
I
nice,
know
but
you've said
people
that
have bad
joke with her
opinions.
before, though.
Yes. So we were on the bumper cars, and she kept thinking she was hitting her mom. She thought her mom was in a car in front of us. Her mom wasn't even out there, but
You're
she
like, yeah,
thought
you
we
got your
were
mom
there.
again.
Exactly. And when we got off the bumper cars, I leaned into her mom and said, FYI, she thought we were hitting you, so play along. And her mom,
You do know her ears work just fine. And if she
oh,
listens to this episode, she can be like, I
I
cannot
know.
believe you lied to me.
She's gonna take my best friend necklace back. She she gave me, which this is probably one of my favorite things I own at this moment. She gave me a best friend necklace and it's in Braille. And I know I have an
That's
accent.
cool.
Oh my God. Like I am my heart bleeds for animals. Like I don't necessarily like kids. However, she gave me this necklace and I'm telling you, something went on with my eyes. I don't know if it was bad allergy season. I don't know. But probably the
Hmm.
coolest moment when I figured she read it to me. She's like, "Do you know what it says?" I'm like, "No, Rosie, I can't
It
read
says
Braille."
dot, 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 dot.
Yeah. And I was joking with her and she's like, "Miss Tasha, it says you're my best friend." And it just like hit me. I was like, "Oh my gosh." It was cool. It was
Oh,
a
what
cool
an
moment.
amazing human being.
Yeah.
That's
I loved
cool.
her.
That's really cool. Well,
She's
we're just
she's been
under an hour. We're
okay.
at like 52 minutes, which is wild. I figured we'd go like 30 or 35, but I love talking to you. But we got to wrap
Robert,
it up.
it's me. I have the gift of gab. Like, come on.
I'm telling you what, I know if I'm pretty sure if we wanted to go Joe Rogan length and do like a 3-hour marathon, we
Yep.
could.
So
Um,
I just did the YPI masterclass. They asked me to come do the masterclass on there, and they gave me 20 minutes. And I laughed. I'm like, you all know 20 minutes is not going to
that's
work for
that's
me,
like
right?
answering 3 questions for you.
I know. I'm like, I need an hour.
Yeah,
And we ran out of time. So there was
yeah,
that.
yeah. It happened. I'm trying for digestibility of the podcast to not get too long because one of my problems with Rogan is I can listen to his marathon ones when
Yeah.
I'm out on the road when I've got a 7-hour jump to go do, but it's tough for me to do them when I'm home because I can listen for the hour that I'm on the treadmill. Okay, it's 20 minutes, but still, I'm going to say an hour. But I can listen then, but then when do I listen? I'm only in the car for 10 minutes at a time.
Right.
And so it makes it tough to get that whole
Right.
3 or 4 hour deal in. So we're trying to make it a little more digestible. I think
Okay.
it's
So
worked so far.
you keep mentioning Seth. If a
Mentioning
movie,
who?
Seth Rogen, right?
No, Joe Rogan.
Joe.
That's
Sorry. Wrong guy.
the other one's an actor.
Wrong guy.
Yeah.
So
Uh-oh. Did we just lock up? I'll have to edit this part.
if a
Hold
movie
on. Hold on. You're
was
locking up.
made about your life,
Hold on. You're
oh,
locking
I
up.
really am. That's terrible.
Hang on. Let's get you caught
All
back
right,
up there. I'll
I'm
edit
back.
that part.
Did you even hear what I said?
No, go ahead now.
I said, if a movie was made about your life, who would play you?
Oh man. Let's see. Who would play Robert? Do I want to be like do I want to be the dashing young man? Like I could go with Vin Diesel
Okay.
because
The,
like the
the
bald
look
thing,
alike, at least
right?
the look
There's kind of a semi look-alike thing, only in the
alike.
fact that we're bald. And I think every guy's who's skinny like me has this thought of, yeah, I'm gonna be like muscular and ripped. So I could go with him only only if when you get to the old part of my life, Patrick Stewart plays me.
Mm,
Captain
okay.
Picard, man, I grew up that he was like a second father growing up. Man,
Okay.
who would so really like who would straight up play me? Because I think Vin Diesel is kind of a goofy answer.
Yeah, you're
Um,
serious. You're not that serious of a guy.
yeah, no, I'm not. Oh,
It's a tough question, right?
it really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And you'd think that I would have answers for these questions that I send you guys, but nobody ever asks it back to me.
What
Um,
animal would? What animal would?
I could see if Robin Williams was still alive, I could
Yeah.
see that. I
Okay.
could see that.
All right.
And when you were
I
about
would
to
agree
say,
with that one.
were you about to ask me? So you're just gonna you're gonna interview me back?
No. Yeah. What animal do you relate with?
So I said manatee earlier, but that's because I'm a
Oh,
scuba
that's
diver
right.
and I love manatees and sea turtles and rays. Those are my three favorite. And oh, you're stuck again.
I think we're good now.
You think?
I think. I'm not moving. I think we're good now.
So any of you watching, you notice that Tasha has magically changed venues. We've had some tech difficulties with her Wi-Fi, but we're good. So she's getting ready to
Wardrobe change, venue change,
venue
and all
change,
things.
wardrobe. Man, that was amazing. No wonder it took you so long to get back on the Zoom call. Like you're like, I gotta go change. So anyhow, I always love our conversations. You were fantastic being on today. Where can folks get in touch with you, Tasha?
Yeah, so Facebook's always good. Tasha Hyder, very on that, or email me, tasha@claycountyfair.org.
We can handle that. You drive safely. Thanks for coming on the show again. To all of our listeners, we're glad you could be with us. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.